Hello, hello, hello. Check 1, 2.
Check 1, 2, 1,
morning.
2. Check 1, 2, 1, 2. Check.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Are we good? Yeah. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Up. Make it up. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Did you have fun at your networking portion of the morning? What a great energy. Good morning. My name is Su-Ling Ching, and I am the president and I had to read that. I am the president and CEO of the Ottawa Board of Trade, like I don't say it every damn day. Okay. On behalf of Mayor Mark Sutcliffe, the Ottawa Board of Trade, and the Ottawa Business Journal, welcome to the November Mayor's Breakfast. I am joined this morning by my co-presenter, Michael Curran, who is the president and publisher of the Ottawa Business Journal, Ottawa's premier business media outlet. And we are thrilled to be gathered here together in our beautiful City Hall in our beautiful downtown Ottawa. Ottawa is built on unceded Algonquin and Anishinaabe territory. The peoples of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Nation have lived on this territory for millennia. Their culture and presence have nurtured and continue to nurture this land. We honor the peoples and land of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Nation. We honor all First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples and their valuable past and present contributions to this land. I want to say thank you to this team at City Hall for hosting us, and to our event partners, My Catering Group and Rogers TV. Please encourage all of those in your network to catch up on the replay of today's conversation, which is made possible by Rogers. Thank you all for being here. I know that your attention, your time, and your energy is precious, and we really do appreciate you investing it here with us this morning for the growth of our business community and the building of our city. A special welcome to board member Julie Lupinacci, who is here from Hydro Ottawa, and welcome to OBOT's economic partners Sonia Shorey of Invest Ottawa and Nancy Fahey of Real Property Institute of Canada for working together with us. We appreciate your leadership and dedication to build the foundation of our city. I would like to acknowledge our OBOT ambassadors, John Nelson, Monica Hailstone, and Walter Noble, for being here today and ensuring that all of our members feel welcome. And a special welcome home to our special guest speaker today, Michele Boudria, who is the President and CEO at MacDonald's Canada. Thank you very much for being here today. Please join me also in welcoming Councillor Plant, Councillor Tierney, Councillor Carr, and Councillor Brockington. Good morning, and thank you for being here today and your ongoing leadership. I wish to acknowledge our pillar partner who's joined us here today, Enbridge Gas. Thank you for being one of the members of our business community who is helping to elevate the important advocacy and economic development work of the Board of Trade on behalf of our business community. The Board of Trade is the voice of business and a key economic partner in our region. Our mission is to cultivate a thriving world-class business community, one that drives affordable, inclusive, innovative, and sustainable city building and community prosperity. We are committed to convening all of you, the business and community leaders of our city, to collaborate on opportunities that will build up Ottawa today and for the next generation. It is to that end that we have been working closely with our economic partners at the City of Ottawa, Ottawa Tourism, Invest Ottawa, BOMA Ottawa, and the NCC, as well as our pillar partners and committee members on the implementation phase of Downtown Ottawa's action agenda, the one that we released earlier this spring. If you have not yet had a chance to read it, please go to livingcapitalottawa.ca. We are pleased to inform you that in consultation with the City and our Downtown Advisory Council, and with the endorsement of our Board of Directors, the Board of Trade has committed to stewarding the Downtown Action Agenda for the next 3 years. And in the coming weeks, we will be raising the seed funding needed to kickstart the agenda, establish the Downtown Champions Table, and launch the Downtown Vibrancy Office. We encourage every Ottawa business, the entrepreneurs, the employees, and executives to actively support our local economy, be an OBOT member or pillar partner, be an ambassador, and a local business promoter. And we have a couple of ideas to help you do that. Last week, we launched our fall-winter edition of Capital Magazine in partnership with TAG. It is a magazine that is designed for each of you to use to tell the story about the Ottawa opportunity. It is filled with insights, stories, and updates about the exciting things that are happening here and the people that are making it happen. Pick one up here or across the city, or go to capitalmag.ca and please share it. Finally, our local businesses are the backbone of our community, our economy, and our culture. The upcoming season is a very important one for their bottom line and a really unique opportunity for each of us to demonstrate our support. During the pandemic, we worked with key partners to launch #BuyLocalOttawa. This year, with the support of United Way as part of their community wealth building focus, we are doing an online launch of our Buy Local program on November the 25th at 11 a.m. So put it in your calendars right now. 11 a.m. on November the 25th. All of us are going to get onto our social media platforms, and we encourage you to promote that date within your networks and within your teams. To get on the platform to promote the importance of buying local, to share stories about how you have supported local, and to promote your favorite local businesses. We have an opportunity to transform our city to be more diverse, resilient, and vibrant than ever before. We need to welcome a variety of people to live and work here, to visit, to learn, invest, open, and grow businesses. We need to diversify our economic base and our talent pool. And we need to work quickly to build more homes and then make sure that we have an efficient transit system. We need to prioritize safety and security for all. Together we will. The private, public and broader public sectors, the Indigenous immigrants and descendants of immigrants, the young leaders and the young at heart. And together we will do this. It is the only way forward. As we kick off today's breakfast, let us recognize the great organizations that support this speaker series. Thank you to our lead sponsor, Hydro Ottawa, to our presenting sponsor, the Westin Ottawa, RBC, Algonquin College, Edelman, Commissionaires Ottawa, Enbridge, Ottawa Senators Hockey Club, our global partners Oakwood and the Casino Lac Limi, our AV partner Ottawa Print Services, the gift sponsor Inman Harden, our coffee sponsor Capital Office Interiors, and our breakfast sponsors La Cité. Thank you. And we also had a special breakfast here today provided by MacDonald's Canada. So thank you for actually helping us with enhancing that as well. And I think I'm having a Big Mac for lunch too, so that's a double duty today. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Without your support, we would not be able to host this event. Now, I would like to welcome to the podium our presenting sponsor today from the Westin Ottawa, Ross Meredith.
Thank you, Suling. Appreciate the welcome. And Mayor, thank you, Your Worship, for welcoming us to your home here today and for continuing to embrace the Team Ottawa approach, because we all know that together we will accomplish great results. So when I realized this morning that it was my opportunity for a moment in the sun, I was really excited when I realized that Ms. Boudria was the guest speaker today. Our industry relies on and celebrates and enjoys hospitality associates for their career. And MacDonald's restaurants in the last many years has often been a first employer, an employer where you've started by teaching them the values of customer service, teaching them the values of teamwork, teaching them the values of get to work on time. Maybe you didn't accomplish all that one with everyone. Keep working on it. But I think that many of us in this room may have started and had a job at McDonald's in our careers, and or our children or friends and family. So thank you very much for the work that you do to kickstart young, new, developing, and first-time employers in the community. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. I will be very short today, which is fantastic for everyone. I just wanted to start by really saying thank you. The Westin Ottawa has been in our community for 42 or 43 years. 1983, this beautiful, gorgeous building came out of the ground. And over those many years, we have been blessed and spoiled with an enormous amount of support from the residents of Ottawa, the business community in Ottawa, and visitors to Ottawa. And without that, we would not be able to continue to provide and give back in our community and continue our success. So thank you very much for the support you've demonstrated to our hotel and to our team, and we look forward to another 43 or 4 years more, guaranteed without me, but 43 or 40 years more. So thank you very much and have a fantastic day. Cheers. Thank you.
Now please welcome to the podium His Worship Mayor Mark Sutcliffe.
Thanks, Suling. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Ross, thank you very much for those kind remarks. I've often told the story of when I was about, I guess, 1982, 83 in that time frame. So I was about 14 years old, and my dad took me to the construction site of what was going to be the Westin Hotel and the new Ottawa Convention Centre and the Rideau Centre, and how game-changing that was going to be for our city. And look at us now 40 years later. And that's, when we look around the city and see some of the potential development that we're going to be talking about 40 years from now that's happening right now, like the new civic campus of the Ottawa Hospital and maybe a new NHL arena and the Lansdowne Park project and so many other things that are going on in our city right now. I think this is a really special time in Ottawa. So, Ross, thank you, and thank you for all your colleagues in the hospitality and tourism industry for what you do for our city. We have the World Juniors coming up, of course, next month. Very excited. I think we're 36 days away from that starting because it was 40 days on the weekend. So that's going to be really, really special for our community. Bonjour tout le monde. Je suis très heureux d'être ici avec vous ce matin et de vous accueillir à l'Hôtel de Ville. It's great to have Michele here, and I'll speak about her in a moment. This is a really busy time at City Hall, and I'm glad that my colleagues Stephanie Plante, Riley Brockington, and Tim Tierney are here. I know David Hill was here as well. We're all working very hard right now on the 2025 budget. Le processus, nous avons lancé le processus budgétaire pour 2025. It's been a challenging budget process. We're facing a lot of financial challenges like so many of you in your businesses, but we're working through it, and we're doing everything we can to strike a balance between investing in what matters most, things like emergency services and public safety, hiring more police officers, paramedics, firefighters, and bylaw officers to keep the community safe, investing in downtown and the Byward Market, investing in roads and infrastructure, investing in supporting the most vulnerable, and at the same time keeping tax increases as low as possible so that we're not adding to inflationary pressures for our residents and our small businesses. So that's our challenge right now leading up to the final budget vote on December the 11th. And speaking of budgets, I wanted to mention that the next Mayor's Breakfast, we are going to welcome Ontario's Finance Minister, Peter Bethlen-Falvey, who will be our guest. So that'll be a great discussion. They just released the fall economic statement. And as you know, we've been working very closely with the provincial government to tackle some of the financial challenges that our city uniquely faces as the capital of Canada and the second largest city in Ontario. So look forward to that coming up in a few weeks. All right, it's my pleasure to welcome Michele back to the Ottawa area for the breakfast this morning. And Michele has really had a remarkable career in business with MacDonald's Canada, and a very inspiring story. Elle a commencé sa carrière il y a plus de 35 ans derrière un comptoir à Aylmer. She started her career behind the counter in Aylmer, Quebec, and today she leads more than 1,400 McDonald's restaurants across Canada, and I know some of the franchisees, some of the local business owners who are operating McDonald's franchises are here this morning. Welcome to you. And of course, Michele is the first woman to lead McDonald's Canada, so she is a trailblazer and a role model for so many women and girls who are in business. And she's had a fascinating career with McDonald's, was managing director of McDonald's Netherlands, and has been driving McDonald's growth here in Canada. And so we're really delighted to welcome her here today, welcome her back home, and have a great conversation about her career and about McDonald's future in Ottawa. Please join me in welcoming the CEO of McDonald's Canada, Michele Boudria. As part of our savings and efficiencies at Ottawa City Hall, we only have 2 microphones, so I'm using this one.
Perfect.
And that one's for you. So how many times a day does somebody come up to you and say, my first job was at McDonald's?
Many times a day. So interestingly, Ross, to your point, I always do this every time I speak somewhere. I always say, so basically the stat is 1 in 10 people have worked at McDonald's. So I'm going to ask you if you've ever worked at McDonald's a day or longer. If you can raise your hand and see if that stat still stands. There you go.
Look at that.
Yeah, so it never fails. Thank you, Scott. Scott and I worked together many years ago.
My old business partner, Michael Curran, worked at McDonald's. I didn't even know
look at
that until he
that.
just put up his hand.
Yeah, so this is always true. This never fails. So.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you about the new advertising campaign where you have future members of Donald Trump's administration eating McDonald's on an airplane. Whose idea was that?
That's a great start, Mark.
What? That was great marketing for McDonald's.
Okay.
They were holding up the French fry container. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's
We don't
get
have
back to
talk
our
about that.
agenda.
I thought it worked. So let's talk about your life in Aylmer, growing up in the National Capital Region. Tell me about the period of your life leading up to your first job at McDonald's.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Aylmer, Quebec, which, if you're from Ottawa, you know exactly where that is. Come from a very large family. My mom had 15 siblings, and we all more or less live in Aylmer. And as a matter of fact, the majority of the family, I'm the only one that left. So everyone is still living in Aylmer, Quebec, and so we do take up the majority of the town as a family with my extended cousins and everything else. And so absolutely loved the idea of a small town close to a big city. Enjoyed coming to Ottawa as a kid. It was a big deal. And, it was involved in sports. I also, only left maybe, I think it was in 2008. So I grew the majority of my career actually here in Ottawa and raised my family here. And my son lives in Montreal now, but, loves to come to Aylmer and connect with the family and the friends that are here. And he has his own little community in Montreal of people who are all from Aylmer, Quebec as well, which is actually really cool.
Amazing. And our friends from Algonquin College are here, Claude Brulé and Keith Eglai, among others. And you graduated from Algonquin College.
I did.
What did you take at Algonquin?
I actually studied journalism. I'm sure that's of interest to you. As a matter of fact, I remember being in City Hall as a journalism student, looking to collect an interview that I could then submit as one of my projects. I started working at McDonald's at the age of 16 and graduated high school, and I went to Algonquin College. It was an absolutely fabulous experience. It was really great to be at the campus last year to see how it's probably, 6 times in size now than when I was there. And it was so impressive what they've done with that facility and the size of the college and the programs, and just really, really fascinated. And while I was in school, I was working part-time at McDonald's, and I have to be honest, I fell in love with the idea of running a business, and I fell in love with the brand. And much to the dismay of my parents, I made the decision to pursue my career at McDonald's post graduation. But I promised them that I would use all the skills and all the lessons that I had learned in my journalism schooling. And to be perfectly honest with you, every day it serves me well, whether it's leadership competencies or communication competencies, or just how to interact with others and work in partnership with others. I fondly remember my days at Algonquin. So thank you, Claude, and the team at Algonquin. I'm grateful for all that I learned.
Amazing. So tell me about some of the jobs you've had at McDonald's. So first job at 16, like everybody else, you were working behind the counter, and where did it go from there?
I always like to tell this story. I started at 16 at McDonald's in Aylmer. Maybe my franchisees in the room don't know this, so don't hold this against me, but I struggled. I had to be retrained, for a shift, because I really was struggling with some of the, pieces that you have to learn. If you've never worked at McDonald's before, it is not as easy as it looks. Let me just say that. And it has become more complex to run our businesses today. So 16, behind the counter, McDonald's in Aylmer. I worked there several years as I went through college. Then I had the opportunity to take on different roles in operations and field service, and worked across Ottawa and back into Gatineau and back and forth. As you know, if you work here, you kind of do a little bit of both sides of the river, which is perfectly normal. Helped me become fluently bilingual. And then I had the opportunity to move to Toronto. to lead the training, learning, and development team on a national basis. Met some really cool people out of our Chicago office at that moment in time, and then I was recruited to move to Chicago to work on the global side of the business. Had the opportunity to travel all over the world, meet some really interesting franchisees, leaders all over the world. Came back to Canada, ran the McCafe business for a few years. At the peak of us growing the McCafe business, it was really exciting to be part of that. And then had the chance to eventually move out west and become the regional vice president for Western Canada. It was a bit of a dream to go and live out west and see what that's like. And it was a fabulous experience. And then from there, I got the call about becoming the managing director of McDonald's Netherlands, which, was absolutely fascinating to me. I didn't speak the language. I've never been to the Netherlands, as much traveling as I've done. Didn't quite understand the culture and didn't know a single person. But went, I was excited. I was, really passionate about learning. I always have been. That's always been a little bit a secret of mine is, getting uncomfortable, taking risks, learning new things, and I knew that was going to be one of the biggest challenges that I'd be up against, and it was absolutely phenomenal. It was short-lived because I did get the phone call to see if I would come back to Canada, and I was like, already? And they said, yeah, how about president and CEO? And I thought, I think I can do that. And so,
You didn't take any time to think about it?
Yeah, I got on a plane and I came home. But it is an absolute honor. I am super humbled by the opportunity, knowing where I started from and where I am today. It's absolutely wonderful, and I'm grateful to the brand. I'm grateful to all of the mentors and leaders that have shaped me, who I am, and the leader today. And that whole journey has defined who I am as a person now.
I want to talk about your international experience. I know it wasn't very long, but one of the really interesting things about McDonald's is how international it is, and how there are many things about McDonald's that are consistent across all the different countries in which McDonald's is served, but there are also many differences as well, right? So you try to bring the best of everything, but also adapt to the local communities. So can you just talk about how you do that, and what might be different about McDonald's in the Netherlands versus McDonald's in Canada?
Yeah, I think the one thing I would say, and you've mentioned it, we pride ourselves on being consistent, and we have very set standards that regardless of where you are in the world, the expectation is that we all abide by those standards. And that's why going to McDonald's, no matter where you are in the world, feels like going home a little bit. And you can rely on the fact that a Big Mac is going to taste like a Big Mac no matter where you are in the world. And we
Even
pride
if it's
ourselves.
called a Royale with cheese.
Might,
But no,
yeah.
that's not. That's the
That's
quarter
the quarter
pounder.
pounder with
Sorry.
cheese, yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
Big Mac's a Big Mac.
That Big Mac's
Right.
a Big Mac,
That's
yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
Is it a Big Mac if it has bacon, though? That's a
I know,
different
that's
question. Yeah,
that's been
absolutely.
a debate. Yeah.
But so it is really important to us, and that's why we believe in these set standards. And to be honest with you, that's how we leverage our size and scale to be able to do the things that we do, because we are consistent from country to country. However, there are nuances. Menu is generally where you see the greater nuances. Poutine is clearly the obvious one that is a Canadian product. I think other markets may do it on a temporary basis, kind of in a taste of the world type of event, and they steal from us. McWraps is another example of not every country has McWraps. We love McWraps. We do very well with them, and so that is an important element for us. And then we do things like limited time offers. We've recently done a quarter pounder with cheese, maple barbecue. Maple.
I know maple is going to come up at some point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorites. If you didn't have it, it comes back around. Please go have it. But those are the types of things that we will do. But again, we have very set standards around our core business and our core menu. And we have some really lot of rigor around what you can innovate on and can't innovate on, because we believe in the consistency of our product for our consumers from restaurant to restaurant, but also from country to country.
Do you have a favorite McDonald's
Oh, I have
item?
about 5.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm a filet-o-fish girl, that's for sure. And a double cheeseburger is my
Okay.
go-to. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the scale of what you do? Because if I remember, this is going back 20 or 30 years, but when McDonald's decided to start serving pizza at the time, it immediately became the largest seller of pizza in North America just overnight. So when you decide, for example, you're going to launch a new product, you have to figure out how you're going to do that on a massive scale, how you're going to get whatever ingredients you need for that, and how you're going to roll it out. So can you just talk about how the scale of what you do and how that impacts some of the decisions you make?
Rick Rock, our founder, has a quote that's famous in a lot of business books that says, "I don't know what we'll sell 20 years from now, but I do know we'll sell more than anyone else." And that is a little bit of our mantra for our business. And so, again, a ton of rigor. We have, when we launch big. We don't launch for the sake of launching, and we spend a lot of time partnering with our owner-operators. So we have committees where they sit on with us in partnership, and we work side by side with them to make sure that whatever it is we're driving, whatever it is we're introducing, we've given them the opportunity to weigh in. They are the closest to our business, and some of the team members that are here today actually sit on some of those committees, which we really appreciate because it's time away from their business that they generously give to the brand. And so it is, that's a big step for us. I'd say the size of our supplier community in Canada is also exceptional. So we do have lots of capability. We spend about $1 billion in food and materials a year in Canada. We work with about 50,000 farms and ranches across the country. So we have a very large scale as far as our ability and our capability due to that great relationship we have with our massive suppliers. And then there's a lot of rigor. We test to see if we operationally can do it. Then we test to see if the consumers are receiving it well and it produces the results we're looking for. And then we spend money on advertising. And then the most important part, and is what we spend the most amount of time, is how do we execute it well in our restaurants? If we can't execute it well in our restaurants and give it in a way to our employees that they can do it well in an easy way, then we're happy to walk away from it. But there is a ton of work that occurs in order to get us there.
I can imagine. Similarly, when you make decisions about sustainability, when you make decisions about the food products you use, when you make decisions about the environmental impact, that has a huge impact as well. So can you talk about some of the strategies around sustainability and agriculture and packaging and those kinds of things?
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge for every business out there, and especially at times where things can get a little bit tougher. But for us, it's a matter of doubling down, not walking away or slowing down. We see the benefits of working on sustainability and the benefits it will have for the business, and specifically in the long term. For us, it's from, starts at the farm and the land where we source our ingredients, to our supplier network, to our restaurants, to our offices. And we look at all of it, whether that's food or packaging, or any of the other elements that, that contribute to our footprint. And we have some very, very aggressive goals. We want to be net zero to gas emissions by 2050. That seems like it's far away, but it is a really difficult, target to get to. But we are highly committed. We are working through it on a daily basis, trying to adjust as the frameworks adjust, as the policies adjust. So are we. We're excited to see the reuse project that Ottawa is working on, to see the results from that and see, how we can, apply some of the learnings. We have a lot of innovation capability. And, we want to make sure that in the end, what we work on allows us to have the right economic and environmental resilience at the end of all of this. And so, it is not an easy area of the business. I never thought that I'd become, as I'm going to call myself an expert in sustainability, because I'm not, but know as much as I do today about sustainability. And as I meet people, we met a young lady today, there she is, thank you, Vida. And, you learn something every time you spend time with people on the topic, because it's not something I do on a daily basis, but I get inspiration, I get ideas, and that's why these types of events and these types of breakfasts are so important to us. But rest assured, we understand our size and scale, we understand our responsibility, and we understand that we have to lead in our industry, and that's work that we're prepared to do.
Right on. So I want to come back to your employees and the culture at McDonald's and the training, and because a lot of people, it is their first job, and for a lot of people, it's their first job in Canada for new arrivals to the country. So tell me how you approach that. What is the culture you strive for, and what are the lessons that you try to impart to your new employees and your new recruits?
Yeah, I'll touch on two things. The first one would be on that culture of accepting people from all walks of life. This is something I personally take very seriously. As a woman, I was challenged in business many times and understood the importance of kind of digging in, and I think about the folks that surrounded me to help kind of break the glass ceilings, if you will, as I drove my career. And I see this as a major commitment of my own to make sure that I'm creating a culture and organization that welcomes everyone. And you know, our learning culture is fascinating. I think you mentioned maybe not on the timeliness to work, so we'll work on that. But you know, you mentioned, Ross, you know, the people always say to me, when I see McDonald's on someone's resume, they go to the top of my pile. And, you know, and that is, we pride ourselves on that. We have a very disciplined, very detailed, very thorough training program. Again, it is consistent across the country. You can go to restaurant X, Y, or Z. You'll have the same tools. You'll have access to the same portals. You'll have access to the same, exact same training. Our owner-operators, before they become owner-operators, also go through 9 months of training, very diligent, very detailed, and I'll be honest with you, it's also true for us corporately. I'm still attending training classes. My team still attends training classes. We have an annual offsite with the team. We never not have a learning moment as part of that, and that's just who we are. It's our culture. We believe in that. We start mentoring as early as like in our restaurants, in a crew in our restaurants, and our operators have mentorship programs, and that carries all the way through, all the way to me. I mentor people across the world. I mentor people within our own organization, and it is something that is incredibly important to all of us, and we realize that is largely why we're so successful is our foundation. And we, you know, we've got phenomenal franchisees. I've got a great management team. We don't execute what needs to be executed every day in our restaurants. Our people do. And so investing in them and making sure we give them the necessary tools is excessively important to us.
How do you choose a location? You have 1,400
Yes.
locations in Canada right now. How do you decide where you're going to go next?
Well, it's, you know, it is, there's a lot of science behind it. So it's not just someone calls me and says, I would really like a restaurant in Greeley. You can let them know I said that. But I will look at Greeley, though. I'm not closed to the idea. But that is not how it works. But we do map it all out. We identify where we have gaps. We are a people business. So where there are growing communities, where there are people who want McDonald's and will appreciate McDonald's, and where we can keep our people safe, we are there. I will say it was really exciting to hear the opening comments around what you're doing around Ottawa and the safety of the city and all of the work that's being done to re-energize our downtown core. And, you know, when the opportunity arises, we'll be excited to be able to find a location here in downtown. And we have others locations, obviously. But I know everybody's mind's probably on, what about the Byward Market? And, you know,
I was going to ask about that.
I know you would, so that's why I'm prefacing it.
She has the journalism training, right? So
yes.
she knew the question was coming.
So we, you know, and you and I have had a conversation. I mean, we would love to be there. The timing will be right one day. We will find the right location. You are all doing incredible work, and we are happy to be part of that to re-energize downtown. Ottawa is thriving. We would be foolish not to be here. And I can tell you that in the next year, you might see 5 additional locations in the Ottawa region. So we are absolutely investing in Ottawa, and we're excited to be here. And of course, I have a personal attachment, so they get a little bit extra attention.
Glad to hear it. So at some point in the future, you foresee McDonald's coming back to the Byward Market?
I would hope so. I mean, again, it's about, you know, community's there, the people are there, our people can be safe. Why wouldn't we? There's business to be had. I'm happy to be there.
Great. let's talk about the philanthropy that McDonald's does. You and I were at an event a few months ago, which was about how Ronald McDonald House is going to expand in Ottawa, which is great. Can you talk about the decisions you make around that? Because obviously, again, something where McDonald's has the potential to have a huge impact.
Yeah, I would say a lot of the credit needs to go to our franchisees. They are the local entrepreneurs who are more invested in their local houses than anyone else that you will ever come across. They are on the boards. They do fundraising. If you follow any of them on LinkedIn, you'll see that on the weekly, they're in there doing something for our houses. They are highly committed. And it's beyond the Ronald McDonald houses. They do work in their communities that is absolutely phenomenal. They are deeply rooted in the communities in which they operate. They are Mr. and Mrs. McDonald's in those communities. People know them. People come to them. They contribute in so many ways beyond RMHC. But RMHC is definitely where we put, a lot of our attention. RMHC is actually celebrating 40 years this year in Ottawa. I happened to share that anniversary with them, which I kind of think I didn't realize that until I was looking at their celebration, and we're doubling the size of the house, and that is largely due because our franchisees are raising a lot of money to be able to do that. So this year in May, we had our McHappy Day, and we had a really big record-breaking McHappy Day in 2023. And we thought, how are we ever going to beat that? And we didn't beat it, we smashed it. We raised $8.9 million across Canada in one day towards RMHC. It was our 30th McHappy Day, and we also hit the $100 million mark of money raised through McHappy Day, which was amazing. We also, if you don't know this, when you buy a Happy Meal, our franchisees contribute part of the funds to RMHC as well. And we hit, this year's our 20th anniversary of doing that program, and we've hit $100 million raised as well through our Happy Meal program. And that's all coming from our local franchisees. So their commitment is exceptional. And like I said, it goes far beyond that. We're committed to the Food Bank of Canada. We work with the Red Cross. If there is a crisis in a community, a flood, a fire, a storm, a community that needs help in whatever way, rest assured, our McDonald's franchisees are there every time.
Just before we keep talking about McDonald's, I have to ask you about the bracelets. Is this? I'm not an expert on this, but is this a Taylor Swift thing, or?
Well, they are friendship bracelets. Yeah, absolutely. Well, our brand is one that likes to connect with the right cultural relevant moments, and so obviously there's a very cultural relevant moment happening in Canada right now, and so these are our friendship bracelets. They're when customers come into McDonald's, they can purchase a meal for $13 if you know that's got a connection to Taylor, if you're aware. And then you also get 2 friendship bracelets that you get to share with your best friend. And so I too have besties out here and collect my bracelets as well. And they've got really clever McDonald's messages on them. So if you haven't collected them yet, go out before they run out. But they are a bit exclusive, so you do want to go quickly.
Okay, very cool. So tell me about your plans from here. How do you see the business changing in the future, and how do you prepare for change? Because it does feel like we're at a time when everything is changing so rapidly with technology, with AI, the way people move around. People aren't going into the office as often; they're staying in their home communities. So there's a lot of change happening. How do you adapt to that and prepare for it?
Yeah, there's really 3 areas that I would speak to. First of all, transformation and innovation at McDonald's isn't foreign to us. We do this on a regular basis. Our franchisees are always on board, and we really, truly appreciate their willingness to. And that's largely, in many ways, why they invested in our brand and why there are franchisees at McDonald's, because they do appreciate the speed at which we move. Our role is to make sure that we stay relevant for our guests, get ahead of what they might expect from us, but also importantly is make sure that our employees in our restaurants have all the tools they need to be successful and to serve our guests efficiently, fast, and in a way that pleases them and they will return. So there's really 3 areas that we're working on. The first one I'd say is digital, and creating a digital footprint for ourselves where we can grow our ability to be able to personalize each guest's experience. So we've set targets around the world. We want to hit 100 million app users. It's a big undertaking. Canada is a big part of that, of course. We've got already, we're well ahead of where we need to be, and we're just going to continue to grow. And so giving the guests that opportunity to really personalize their experience through our app is one of our big priorities, and we believe there's a way for us to reach each of you in a way that really connects. And so our digital business is a big investment. The second one I'd say is on the restaurant development side. And so if you don't know, there are 40,000 McDonald's around the world. And we set a target to get to 50,000 by the end of 2027. And that's a big leap. Canada obviously plays a role in that, so we will be growing as well rapidly. And that's
10,000 new restaurants
around the world.
Around the world in just over 2 years.
Roughly 3 years, because we announced it last year. So
Okay.
so 3 years. And so big ambitions. Communities, they welcome us with open arms. It is, really important for us to be where our guests are. And it goes far beyond serving food. It's also about the contributions that we bring to the economy, that we bring to the community, the services that we can offer, the partnership that we bring to a lot of organizations that could use the support of McDonald's, and done all through our owner-operators. This also gives us the opportunity to recruit more owner-operators. When I'm in a room of business people, I always say, just so you know, we are always recruiting. And so, there is an opportunity for many owner-operators to join the organization as well. And what's really interesting, back to the learning culture, is those incoming owner-operators are trained by our existing owner-operators. And they learn some of the best practices and the ideas, and they grow through that very detailed training. So it's a great opportunity for young entrepreneurs, young at heart entrepreneurs as well. I'll say, I like that. That's how I'm going to describe myself now. But it is really a great opportunity. And I think the third area is around technology. We want to make sure that we are in a position where we can set our restaurants up to really be successful and be able to serve the consumers and the guests that we bring in through all of these great campaigns that we do, and do it well and do it with ease. And again, I'll go back. If you've never worked in a McDonald's, it may look and sound simple, but it's actually quite complex. And so there's a lot of work for us to do, leverage AI, and really use our scale to be able to bring some technical skills and technical tools to our restaurants that can really drive the business.
You're very passionate about women and girls and business and leadership and entrepreneurship. Thea, who's here today, we have this wonderful program in Ottawa called Mayor for a Day, and she was Mayor for the Day this year, and you had a nice little conversation with her before we got started today. Can you talk about what your goals are in that area, what message you have for young women who are starting their careers?
Yeah, I never, if I meet a young woman who has interest in talking to me, I never turn them down. So Thea and I will absolutely connect at some point. But I have a lot of passion for it. I was surrounded by people who saw the talent that I had, that saw the passion that I had, the ambition that I had, and they helped carve the way for me. And I just see it as my responsibility to do that, pay that forward. I was part of the original team that started our Women's Leadership Network at McDonald's. This is 15 years ago. Still very much in existence today. We still continue to do the work. We've also set up several employee business networks. I try to participate in every event that exists. I show up. My management team shows up. It's an expectation that we are there. Our owner-operators do great work as well in their own restaurants. For us, it's not just about a target, it's about a culture. And the targets come when you create the right culture. And I see my primary role to be driving the business, of course, but just as importantly, creating a psychologically safe environment where everyone can show up as who they are and get the best out of every employee because we do that. And I think, that's something that was done for me. And I feel it's my responsibility to make sure I create an environment when it's done for others. And long after I'm retired, I promise I will still be involved in this type of work because I have a ton of passion for it, and I see the benefit of it around not just the business. Of course, there's massive business advantages to doing that, but also just in our communities and the importance of creating those types of environments. I'm incredibly proud of the men in our organization who just show up as allies. Like, there are as many allies in our rooms today when we have our events than there are the group that they're representing. One of our leads for our Pride Network is actually an ally. There's just for us, our lead who represents us on the global scale at the Women's Leadership Network is a man. Because he believes in it so much. He has daughters. He sees the importance of this in the future. And my job is just to foster this kind of an environment and constantly challenge people to go further and faster. And we don't always get it right. When we don't get it right, we need to fix it. And that is, certainly when I step in.
You're also very passionate about Ottawa. And we're grateful for that and really delighted that you accepted the invitation to come and join us today. But what do you hope to see happen in Ottawa? Because you care about this city and you spend a lot of time here. What are your aspirations for Ottawa?
Yeah, first of all, let me just say thank you to you for allowing me this opportunity when you reached out. I always love going home, so that's always important to me. But to have the opportunity to speak in this environment, in this forum, is a bit of a humbling moment, considering that to me, I just consider myself a good old Elmer girl from Ottawa who grew up here. But a great opportunity, and I thank you. I'm personally and professionally invested in Ottawa. My family lives here. The franchisees who are in this community, some of them have been my colleagues for years and years and years. Whether I've met them 40 years ago or just 10 years ago, they know how committed I am to them and their success. And I love coming home. That's how I call it. I'm home. I was here just a few weeks ago to celebrate my 40th anniversary. I spent it here in Ottawa on the Byward Market, 2 nights. And had the pleasure.
Your 40th work anniversary?
My 40th work anniversary at MacDonald. And I had the pleasure of having all of the franchisees with me, and I could not have picked a better place to celebrate my 40 years. And really grateful. And, when I think about Ottawa, for me, it's this big city with a really warm, small city feeling. There is something about Ottawa that is just, it's entrepreneurial, it's got big thinking, but it feels like home. It's homey. And I hope that we can preserve this community environment that we've spent years and years and years building here. And for me, that's why it feels like home every time I come here, because there's this community sense that I hope that we preserve over the years, while also continuing to build our entrepreneurial spirit in the city. I think about some of the tech, development that's occurred. I had the chance to spend some time at the Smart Farm at Area XO, just by Algonquin College, actually a few months ago. And I was fascinated by the thinking, the entrepreneurship, the innovation that's there. And, those of you who know me will say, and then I get a million ideas, and then I'm in trouble because I send everybody off trying to figure out how do we do something with this. And that's the part that I love. And all this is happening here in Ottawa, and it made me so proud. And I hope that businesses and different types of businesses continue to invest in Ottawa, because it is a wonderful place to grow our businesses and build future entrepreneurs as well here. So I think that Ottawa is going to be thriving, already is, will continue to thrive for many years to come.
Amazing. You made Sonia Shorey from Invest Ottawa very happy when you mentioned Area X.O. That's great.
If you've never been, you should try to get in there. It is fascinating to see the stuff that they're doing there, and it will be the future of farming, and it's happening right here in Ottawa. Fascinating.
I think you captured it really well, that the opportunity we have for growth and to become a more vibrant and cosmopolitan kind of city with a lot of business growth and entrepreneurship, but to hang on to that small town feeling that we've always had, that sense of community, a city with heart, you know, the volunteering, the community spirit in Ottawa is a big part of who we are. So thank you for describing it so well.
My pleasure.
And thank you for doing this. This has been a real blast.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I know how busy you all are.
Michele Boudria. Thank you so much, Michele.
Thank you for sharing microphones, Mark. Michele, wonderful and fascinating presentation. Thank you for being here. I was one of the people that raised their hands when you said who worked at MacDonald's, and I won't tell the long version of the story. But it was sometime around 1984, you were opening your first restaurant in Orleans. You made on St. Joseph Boulevard, of course, still there, still, you know, gangbusters business, I'm sure. Yeah, you came to our high school and recruited dozens of people, which was very efficient, but putting a bunch of 15-year-old friends in your restaurant, maybe not the best idea. And I won't tell you the rest of the story. It's confidential. But I tell you what, and this is being very sincere when I say this, the systems, the standards, the level of productivity, the measurement of what happens, it was remarkable. And I do think it's not only a fantastic first job, it's a fantastic business, lesson in business, in how to operate a great business. So congratulations to Michele. On behalf of the Mayor of the Board of Trade, I want to thank you, Michele, for spending some time here with us today. And I call on Kyle Shimon from Eamon Harnden to come forward and present a token of our appreciation. Here's Kyle. And we'll have you come up here, Michele, and we'll take a photo. Just step forward there. Come. Our photographers like things framed correctly. There you go. All right. Thank you to Michele Boudria. And we're going to do our door prizes. The first prize is from Casino La Calimi, $200 in casino dollars. It can be used anywhere in the complex. And maybe, Mark, I'll get you to draw a name for us. And the winner is Ross Meredith. We get to cross the river, Ross, and visit. Yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, that's exactly it. And we got one other gift. It is a signed Ottawa Senators stick. And helping us present this is Ethan Rosenberg. So Ethan, come on forward. And Michele, I'll get you to draw this one. I hope you're a Sens fan. Should I put you on the spot? Of course. Okay, of course. There you go.
So pick one of the franchisees.
Maybe. The recipient is Parisa Samels Mashesh. I hope I got that right. Parisa. There you go. We hope you're a Sens fan too. We had Gary.